You know, right around the pandemic, it was once the pandemic started and we were all kind of under quarantine at home and stuff like that, that I finally got caught up with The Last Airbender, Avatar, The Last Airbender. I'd never seen it. I watched a little bit of it, but I decided during the pandemic I was going to just watch the series, and I loved it. It really ended up entertaining. It does skew a little young, yes, but as the season goes on, you know, you get into season 2 and whatever, it starts to develop more mature themes as well and end up being great. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of The Legend of Korra, just to be honest with you. That was okay, but I didn't like it nearly as much. Well, listen, you guys might remember that Paramount announced that they were doing a new animated movie called The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender. That's going to focus on the character Aang. But you also might remember that a little while ago, Paramount shifted gears. They pulled a fast one. Little bait and switch, because they decided, despite the fact they're saying, we're going to put out 30 theatrical films a year, they pulled it out of theaters and said, now it's going to go straight to streaming. And the director of the film has now come out and saying, no, this thing should be in theaters. This comes just from the folks at Variety. Writing, Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender director says the film deserves to be seen in theaters after Paramount moved it to streaming. The movie is amazing. And it goes on to quote the director, stuff like that. Aang is officially, the director was quoted in saying, Aang, the movie is officially wrapped, Montgomery wrote. We screened the final film for the crew and celebrated the end of our 4-year journey. Now it waits in limbo until the release in October. I've never worked on an Avatar project that was easy, and this was no different, but it was worth it. I'm so proud of everyone who is part of this and the amazing thing we built together. Now, they continue. The movie is amazing. That might not mean much coming from the director. I might have some bias, but I feel the need to put that out there. The recent decision to move us from theatrical to streaming might give the impression that the quality wasn't sufficient, but it couldn't be further from the truth. This movie deserves to be seen on a big screen, and I cannot wait for all of you to see it. All right. Now, listen, this is an interesting scenario in the sense that, you know, if they had come out and announced that they were making this animated Legend of Aang, you know, The Last Airbender movie, and it was going to be going to Paramount Plus, I probably wouldn't have batted an eye. I probably would have, okay, yeah, that kind of tracks. I mean, Avatar is a television show, and this is a continuation of that, and it's animated. I can see you put it on Paramount Plus. But the fact of the matter is, they announced it as a theatrical movie. And not only did they announce it as a theatrical movie, they gave it several dates. The article in Variety goes on to describe this. The movie was originally announced under the title Aang, The Last Airbender, and had a theatrical release date for October of 2025. 5 months ago, this is supposed to be in theaters. In April of 2024, Paramount delayed the movie's release to January 30th, 2026. Again, should have been in theaters already. But again, theatrical. The official title, The Legend of Aang, The Last Airbender, was announced 1 year later. And then a third release delay was announced on May 25th, with Aang moving to an October 9th, 2026 theatrical release 3 times. In the Shakespearean thrice, Rob, they were given theatrical release dates. And now this company that is swearing up and down 30 theatrical films a year, says Paramount, which nobody believes they're going to be able to do. Here you have one. And they're dumping it onto streaming. And, you know, listen, well, I know we've been through this debate before. Like there was the Roadhouse remake issue with, what was it? Doug Liman was the director of that one, right? And he initially was under the impression it was supposed to go to theatrical. They decided to pull it to streaming. Now, look, at the end of the day, the movies belong to the people who paid for it. It's their movie. They can do whatever they want with it. They can put it in theaters. They can put it on streaming. In the case of Batgirl, they can scrap it. It's their movie. They have the right to do whatever they want to it because it's theirs. They paid for it, and everybody else can just shut the hell up. But at the same time, that does not take away from the fact that I understand the angst. Like you worked on this movie and you agreed to be on the movie and all that kind of stuff because you thought it was going to theaters and you were told it was going to theaters and you're telling your mom it's going to be in theaters and all that kind of stuff. And then they changed the release date to another theatrical date, and they're like, oh, okay. And then they changed it, the release date again to another theatrical date, and like, oh, okay, that's fine. And then they tell you it's going to dump it on streaming. And that's got to be frustrating. And the other thing too is, if you're David Ellison and you're Paramount, and you're putting these lofty promises into the ether about 30 theatrical films a year, you got one right here that goes towards your count. And listen, the director is not wrong when she says that the movie being pulled from theaters doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad movie. But they're also not wrong when they say that it gives the impression that it's not a very good movie. This screams lack of confidence, whether it's warranted or not, whether it's fair or not. So, listen, it's Paramount's film. They can do whatever they want with it, and they're not shifty for doing so. I'm just saying it's a little weird to do it at this point. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, BetterHelp. You know, March is a time when we celebrate the women in our lives and recognize everything they carry every single day. Women often take on a lot, and sometimes their own well-being gets pushed to the side. And it's a great reminder of how much women give to the people in their lives. So this month is a great time to pause and reflect on the roles that you carry and the pressures that can come with them. Therapy can be a helpful space to work through those challenges, create balances, and set healthy boundaries so you can take care of yourself too. And that's where BetterHelp comes in. BetterHelp connects people with licensed therapists who follow a strict code of conduct. With over 30,000 therapists and more than 6 million people served worldwide, BetterHelp has an average rating of 4.9 out of 5 for live sessions based on 1.7 million client reviews. They also match you with a therapist based on a short questionnaire, and if your first match isn't the right fit, you can switch to another from their recommendations. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/Campea. That's betterhelp.com/Campea. Anyway, Rob, you read about this story. What do you make of it?
Well, I think it's unfortunate. I mean, the fact that they've moved it a number of times gives me pause, because clearly they were either having production issues or something was happening. I mean, it's been delayed quite some time. They got the movie finished. I can tell you one thing: if they don't release it theatrically, the movie's not going to make one dime. They're going to put it out on streaming and it will be forgotten in a week, even if it's the greatest movie ever. I mean, I think that everybody who worked on this movie they all thought they were making a theatrical feature. So I would imagine that the effort is certainly there. Of course, the director is going to say it's a great film. So I want to try and understand from a studio perspective. It's not like Paramount has this great slate of films that they're going to release theatrically. I would think they'd be happy to have something that could compete in the family entertainment animation space. And if they don't have confidence in it, they obviously don't want to pay the marketing budget that it would cost to put something like this out. And there's probably a reason for that. So I would say that on one hand, I'm always going to be on the side of the filmmakers, but on the other hand, as you pointed out, it is Paramount's movie, and they have to look at the film and they have to say, I think we're going to make a lot of money, or not. And they clearly don't think that they are. So I would say there's probably some middle ground where the truth lies, but it's a bummer.
It is a bummer. Again, once again, let me just say what I said at the beginning. If they had initially announced this movie, hey, we're making an animated Aang movie that's kind of like a sequel to the original series, and it's going to be on Paramount Plus in whatever, I don't think any of us would have batted an eye. I would like, that's fine. That's fine. But the fact that they announced it as theatrical, they made it as theatrical, they changed the date to a new theatrical date, then they changed the date again to another new theatrical date, and then making promises about 30 films in theaters a year, only then to go, yeah, we're going to put it on Paramount Plus. Like, not to take anything away from the filmmakers behind it, but I'm sorry, Paramount, if you're going to act like you don't have faith in this project, why should we have faith in it?
Yeah.
That's the question. Like, if you're not going to believe in your own stuff, how can you ask us to believe in it? It's just a really weird move, Rob. It just feels really weird.
I think so too.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The Avatar Aang movie had not one, not two, but 3 theatrical release dates. Now it doesn't. We've known about that. And now the director's coming out saying, listen, this is a movie that deserved to be seen in theaters. It's a really dumb situation. Anyway, whatever you guys think about it, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show Podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.